So it is playable on here. And like I say, a little slowdown can certainly help in 2D shooters. It seems like the less things are on screen, the smoother it runs. Like I've seen it run like even at full speed. So it's actually playable, to be honest, unlike a lot of slower moving games. But overall, it's not anywhere near like full speed of what I would want. Also, other than that, it still looks great though, man. And this was a phenomenal looking game. It's a shame that this game never came out in the States either, man. Like they really should have. I know this was a STV game, so this was on Saturn hardware. But man, we really needed an N64 or a PlayStation port of this game. It would have been nice to see a Dreamcast port of this game too in the States, because man, this is one of the great, and I mean great 2D shooters here. Yeah, so this bodes well though, man, for the future of the Pi. I have no question, by the next Pi, that should clean up all the N64 and Saturn games. All of those sections should be like really cleaned up. So it's a good amount of cool Saturn games on here. I guess my only complaint would be there's a lot of ports that he included in this build. Like I see Don Pachi on here. Don Pachi, that's dope. But I mean the arcade version of that's on here, so that ain't really a must. But like I would have liked to see like Fighters Mega Mix, Virtual Fighter 2, you know, Virtual Fighter Remix. I see he had Battle Arena Toshinden on here. That's cool. But I would like to see a few more Saturn exclusive games on here. Maybe a Panzer Dragoon Saga. So I'm going to be talking to him about adding some more stuff to it when I get the new build. So I'll be on the lookout for that. And 32X is on here, runs great. Sega CD, like all the older platforms are good money. He has it also sectioned off into different platforms like Batman, all the Batman games, the beat 'em up games, Castlevania, or Donkey Kong, Double Dragon games, Fatal Fury, Final Fantasy, Lego games, the Light Gun games, Super Mario, Mega Man. Oh yeah, and I know a lot of you guys gonna ask about Light Gun. All right, I got the aim track guns. I want to get the sending guns, but I do have the aim track guns. I'm gonna be honest, guys, I'm not a fan of those guns. But for completeness sake, because I know people are gonna ask, I'm gonna make a follow-up video all about the light guns once I get everything rocking and rolling with the light guns, and you know, and I'll show the video. You know, it does work. I had it working. Everything works good, but it's still some things I want to adjust and some questions I want to ask before I make the video, because I don't want to misspeak or I didn't have something right and his build is good and I'm in the wrong. So I want to make sure I'm top to bottom on the light gun games. Then I'll throw you guys a video, because I know you guys love your light guns. Anyway, yeah, Super Mario, Metal Slug, Metroid, like all of those games, open boards included, the pinball games, like all of that stuff, like are like sectioned off. So 3DO doesn't really have much. A couple like point and click light gun style games are on here. Mad Dog McCree, Primal Rage, Wolfenstein 3D. I had 3DO. I was actually a big fan of that platform. It was a lot more powerful than Super Nintendo and Sega CD at that time. In my opinion, in a lot of ways, the 3DO was like the first next gen console. Like, because if that system came out in the early 90s, I want to say late 92. When that system came out, it was a lot of money, but the horsepower and like the graphical capabilities of that system and the games eventually we started seeing was a huge jump up from Super Nintendo. And I mean, unfortunately, by the time it came and a few good games came out, a couple years passed, like Saturn and PlayStation was on the brink of coming out. And when PlayStation came out, it just pretty much killed it because it had even more powerful hardware and just had a lot more support. 3DO just never really had that support. But if everybody would have jumped on deck with 3DO from get, hey man, Panasonic, they may have took over the game, man. Who knows? Anyway, the arcade classic section is nearly 3,000 games. So there's a lot of hidden gems arcade games that's included in this section that isn't on the Virtual Man build. It isn't on the Arcade Gas build or the Wolf and Nose build. So, hey, it's just a ton of games. I will say this. A lot of the 3D based hardware 3D hardware-based games that were more modern, like Ace Driver, Ridge Racer, a lot of those games are not working right. Virtual Fighter works good, but a lot of the other ones aren't working right. So I don't know if that's a horsepower issue with the Pi or the ROMs are bad. But I'm building a nice file that I'm going to be turning in to him because I've gone through this build extensively. And again, I don't know the details. Maybe I'm not doing something right to get it to run. I've changed the ROMs on a few of them. And he's offered some advice. Like, I've gotten the Run and Gun 2 to work phenomenal now. And I'm happy with it. Hey, because that was one of the games where I couldn't find a good build on it. But I can't seem to get any of the more modern 3D games running well. So, besides Virtual Fighter works great. But like Ace Driver, Rave Racer, a lot of those games work, sound. It's some consistency issues. So, we're going to talk to see if anything can be done about that in the next build. So, I have a spare 512 card sitting around. So, I'm going to be sending him that so he can put this build, which is 400 gigabytes on that, add all the borders to the games, and then I'm going to have him see what he can do about some of the broken games, and then like load it up the rest with PSP games and more Dreamcast games. And see if he can fix some of the games that aren't working that I'll point out to him that I couldn't get to work. Alien vs. Predator works good because only thing missing is for some reason it only has a 2-player ROM instead of the 3-player ROM, which I'm going to bring to his attention. Going through this. Hey, this is a cool 2D shooter right here. Cybern. I'm not sure if this is on the Arcade Guys build or the Virtual Man build. I don't remember seeing it. But hey, definitely check this out. Definitely cool. It's like a like Fantasy Dragon 2D shooter, but hey man, it's a great game. I really liked it. Definitely check that out. Fallen Angels work good. Like pretty much all of the usual suspects work good. Like Ergeist was another one of the 3D games that wasn't working. Now, if you go to the PlayStation section, here's the thing. A lot of those 3D games are in the PlayStation section. And the PlayStation ports of these games were like really, really close to the arcade. They were spot on, like Ergeist, Tekken 3, Street Fighter EX, the EX2 Street Fighter. They run perfect on PlayStation, and the load times are like next to non-existent now. They were long as hell on original consoles, but like they're next to nothing now. So, Groove on Fight was another game which I was kind of pissed off that I couldn't get running because I was surprised to actually see that game on here. But man, for you guys that don't know about Groove on Fight, hey man, Groove on Fight is that game, man. Seriously. Tag Team 2D Fighter. This Groove on Fight is the sequel to Power Instinct. This is like, I want to say the third Power Instinct game, if I'm not mistaken. And it was a lot of Power Instinct games because, and they end up changing the name. I think the last one might have been Matrimony. That was on the SNK Neo Geo platform. But man, Groove on Fight was like my favorite one. And this was really a slept-on game. It didn't come out over here. It was an import game. It was a phenomenal fighting game. It was a lot more serious and focused than the other Power Instinct games, man, because they were like a lot. They were good games. They played well, but it was a lot of goofy shit in those games, man, and just it was a lot of goofiness in Power Instinct. It was hard to kind of take it serious, even though it had good graphics and played well. But Groove on Fight, it was super serious and very focused. It was a good, really, really great fighting game for that era. Only thing that kind of bothered me about it, for some reason, the characters seem to have like a low jump priority and stuff. Hopefully, if he gets this game running, because I definitely have included it in the list, I'd like to show you guys a video breakdown of Groove on Fight, because that game was badass, man, and it was really slept on for like the real fighting heads that's serious about the game and the craft. It's definitely maybe one of the greats. So anyway, back to the build, because I'm ranting. A lot of the 3 and 4 player rounds are included on this particular build, and things like Metamorphic Force, you get the actual 4-player round, and it actually runs great. Hold on one second. All right, so it runs great because a lot of these games like Bucky O'Hare, you get the proper 4-player round too, and the game actually runs great. Like it doesn't have any of that choppiness or slowdown. Those were just kind of bad rounds that were on the arcade guys build. And hey man, The game runs great, so. This is one of the great beat 'em ups, man. I love Metamorphic Force. Super slept on. I don't think this game ever came out on home systems. But this along with Violent Storm is definitely my jam. So yeah, as you guys already know, Metamorphic Force, it runs great. Cowboys of Moo Mesa runs great. Oh yeah, let me show y'all Cool Cats. Yeah, Cowboys of Moo Mesa is on here. I'm not sure why he has it under M for Moo. It just has it named as Moo. But that's Cowboys of Moo Mesa right there. The Outrun games are on here. Outrunners, Outrun Turbo. Those games were missing from the the arcade guys build. So just to let you guys know about that. Everything seems to be running well with those. Oh yeah, Golden Axe. Both of the Golden Axe games on here, I believe the original Golden Axe, I know Golden Axe, the original arcade game, runs good. But Golden Axe, the Revenge of Death Adder, seems to be running slow for some reason. So he may have a bad rhyme about that. I've documented it. I'm going to get with him about that. Also, the Golden Axe fighting game on here, the Duel, I can't get that one to work either, which was kind of a killer because that was a pretty cool fighting game. Not one of the greats or anything, but I was a big Golden Axe fan, so I remember definitely playing that back in the day. So it was a little bit of a disappointment not getting that to go. So just something I thought I'd bring up. Primal Rage is, of course, on here. Oh yeah, let me back out of here. Yeah, I want to tell you about Atomic Wave. Atomic Wave. Hey man, Atomic Wave section is phenomenal on this machine. The 26 Atomic Wave games, they all seem to run great, man. The only game I had issue with is unfortunately Neo Geo Battle Coliseum. I'm a big fan of that game, man, and that's one I'm gonna have him try to look into, see what he can do about it. But man, the Atomic Wave section is on point, and it runs great. Dolphin Blue, Faster Than Speed, of course, Fist of the North Star, Hokuto no Ken, the Guilty Gear Isuka, King of Fighters Neo Wave, Metal Gear 6, like all those games run good. The Rumble Fish, like all of that stuff is like top notch. And hey, that's definitely worth checking out. And and Demolished Fish, man, this is one of my favorite beat 'em ups in recent memory, man. 3D beat 'em up from that early 2000s era. Don't believe it came out in America. I believe it may have came out in Dreamcast in Japan, but man, this is a phenomenal game.
Stage 1, Gloria Building.
And this game had great graphics for this era, man. It looks phenomenal on this cabinet. And oh, forgot about that. Look at this Matrix mode. Knock down the crowd. This is a really, really sweet game, man. But yeah, anyway, man, that's Demolished Fist. Demolished Fist. Definitely check that out, man. Like, we're already familiar with Dolphin Blue. It runs great on here. Faster than Speed. Maximum Speed. Faster than Speed. The sequel. Knights of Valor. The sequel to Knights of Valor is on here. The Seven Spirits. Good beat 'em up. Definitely check that out. Samurai Showdown 6 is on here. It actually runs pretty well too. I'm impressed. Like it does run. I haven't had any issues with it. As you know, I'm a big Samurai Showdown fan, so I was happy to see that. The Daphne games do work. They take a little while to load up. Like when you start the Daphne games, because you gotta remember these games were like Laserdisc games, so like the startup is long for the Daphne games. Like when you start it up, you may think it's not gonna work or load, but it could take up to a good minute to get the Daphne games going. So just letting you know that. But they do work, and you got 13 of them. Dragon's Layers 2, Space Ace, Mach 3, Cliffhanger. So definitely. The Dreamcast section was a little underwhelming for me. I mean, it had almost 50 Dreamcast games, but like Soul Calibur isn't on here. What's on here works great, but Soul Calibur isn't on here. Fighting Vipers 2 is great fighting game. I've talked about it in the past. It was import only, so I'm happy to see it on here. It runs great. It looks great too. So So as you guys can see, hey man, there's a lot on this cabinet now. Like compared to like the basic arcade guys build, like you know, this cabinet is loaded, man.
Fighting Vipers 2. Select your Viper. Round 1. Let the action begin. Go!
Yeah, Fighting Vipers was a lot like Virtual Fighter, but a little bit more faster pace, and it had like a little bit more over the top stuff, so a little bit more closer to Tekken. But it definitely played like Virtual Fighter, but you could pop people higher in the air. You know, they had tech rolls, tech recoveries. Graphics look great. But yeah, the game runs at great speed, man.
Round 1. Let the action begin. Go!
All right, man. Fighting Vipers 2. Phenomenal fighting game. Like, everything runs great, man. Like, Ikaruga runs full speed now. It also has Blitz 2000 on here, too, which is my favorite version of Blitz, and it runs pretty well, too. So, that's phenomenal. All right, guys. Hey, look, man. We've been at it like an hour or so. That's my deep dive of this build. There's a lot more I can say about it. I'm going to make some more follow-up videos for it. But hey, if you got this cabinet, go get this build. This is a big upgrade for you. You got two options if you want to upgrade. I would say this build or go with maybe the Arcade One Hyperspin system that Carlos got. That would get you even more. But that's gonna cost you $1,000+ to do that. So my recommendation is go get this build. This build is phenomenal. It's gonna open up a lot of variety for your cabinet. It's gonna run great, and you're gonna love your cabinet after this, man. You may not want to even upgrade after this, to be honest. You'll be satisfied for a long time. I know one thing: this build has really closed the gap with the PC-based cabinet, like I mentioned earlier. Anyway, I'm gonna make some quick follow-up videos to let you guys know about how exactly I will order this build, depending on how much money you got to spend and how much content you want. Because remember, this is only a 400 gigabyte build, so you can get more content than this, and you may want that, because I do. So anyway, 3X Lex out, and get with me on the next one. Peace.